Hi, welcome to my channel. This is my first knitting podcast. So my name's Karen. I am a novice knitter. I started knitting in October 2022, so really recently. And I just thought it would be fun to track my progress and see how far I can get with my knitting. I started out with pretty much no knowledge of knitting, so I think it's just gonna be a really fun, interesting, crazy, expensive journey. So yeah, that's me. I wanted to just share a little bit about myself since this is my first episode. So I am based in New York, and yeah, I have kind of always had a love for more natural fibers. I love, alpaca and wool, cashmere, cotton, linen, that sort of thing. That is just kind of what I have always gravitated toward when I buy clothes, and I see that translating into my knitting. So yeah, that is probably a big theme that you'll see over the course of however long I am making these little podcast episodes. What else? So I started off basically with no experience, and I just kind of was scrolling through Instagram one day and I kept seeing really great sweaters that I liked, and I was like, oh, where do I get those? Where do I get those? And turned out they were knitting accounts that you could buy the knitting patterns for, and I just kept digging into it and sort of researching, and eventually I was like, okay, this feels right and I feel like I should give this a shot. So that was really kind of how I started knitting. Another big reason why I started knitting was that for the last couple of years I've felt really frustrated with the fashion industry. I have a fashion blog that I run separately, which I'm happy to link down in the description if you want to check it out. But I've always been a little bit frustrated by not being able to find the pieces that I was looking for. Maybe it was, a specific color that I couldn't find or a specific style that I was having a lot of trouble finding, and it just kind of led me naturally, I think, to a place where I was really frustrated whenever I needed to shop for clothes. And I was constantly wishing that I could just make my own clothes and then I wouldn't have to worry about not having pieces available in the store. So I think that probably was the biggest motivator for me for actually deciding to start knitting in the first place. So yeah, I mean, that is pretty much about me, and I hope you'll stick around if you like my videos. I hope you'll like and comment and subscribe, and we can kind of go on this learning experience together. I think it is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm obsessed with knitting videos and knitting patterns and all kinds of yarn, so I really just can't wait to continue this. So first things first, I figured I would go over some of the things I've been working on. So I think I'm going to start with my completed projects and then move into my whips and also some of my yarn acquisition and any of my knitting plans for the future. So let's get started, I guess. So first things first, I made a scarf. This was my very first project that I decided to make because obviously it was super easy. This is the Smith scarf from Wool and the Gang, which is a free pattern. It's done in garter stitch, so super simple. I made it about 60 inches long, so 5 feet, and I used Lion brand Woolies Thick and Quick in the color pumpkin because I was really looking for an orange scarf and an orange hat and I couldn't find one I liked. So that was actually, I'm not even kidding, like what literally prompted me to start knitting was that I couldn't find an orange hat and an orange scarf. So yeah, so this was my very first project, and I love the way it turned out. It's super thick and cozy, comfy. I like to wear it, I mean it's not really been cold enough to wear it yet, but I wear it double knit, like folded over like that, so it's just like really cozy. Okay. Yeah, and I love it. I think the yarn is really nice, especially for chunky yarn. I know it's super popular for people who are just starting out, so I think it's only right that I used it for my first project. But I probably wouldn't use it for anything else other than like hats in the future. Even for the scarf, I don't love it. I think I just prefer like a not so chunky scarf. So that's my thoughts on that. To go with my scarf, of course, I made a hat for myself. I made two actually. So I made this one first for my boyfriend because I just wanted to make an attempt at making a hat. And yeah, so this was it. So this hat, both of these hats are the big winter hat from the Surrey knitter. I found the pattern on Etsy, even though I know there's a ton of free hat patterns. I couldn't find one that I liked that was free, so I just got this one. Both of these are again in the Lion brand Woolies Thick and Quick. This one is the color pumpkin again to match my scarf, and then this one is in the color denim. And this is my first time doing a 1x1 rib. My first time working in the round, so these hats were a really big learning experience for me, and also my first time having to decrease for the top of the hat, and you know, so it was a big learning experience for me, and like sewing up the ends and making sure there's no holes. I watched a lot of YouTube tutorials in order to successfully make these hats, and you know, it's not perfect. I have like a big mess up over here because I was getting confused on my stitches, but honestly pretty good for a first attempt. So I'm super excited about these and really proud, and I think there's probably more hats in my future. Okay, so after I had finished my scarf and my hats, I was looking to take on more, so I decided to make a vest. My whole goal for knitting was to become a garment knitter and be able to make things for my wardrobe. So I decided to start with the Novice Slipover from Petite Knit. I am almost done with it. I'm just working on the body now. I've completed probably like half of it. So this one is worked flat, starting at the back, and then you move on to the shoulders, and then you do the front yoke, and then I finally just recently joined in the round under the armpit, and I'm working it in the round, and it's been a really, really nice knit. I've learned a lot about it so far. I've learned that my purl stitches are pretty loose. I've realized that I'm very balanced on my knit stitching tension. And I did not gauge swatch, which I know is like such a rookie mistake, and I definitely will do that in the future because I think because my purl stitches are loose, this is a little bit big on me, but for a first experience, honestly, I'm totally fine with this. So I decided to make this in a medium. My normal clothing size is a small, but I just figured it would be a little bit, I didn't want to risk it being too small if I did a small, so I decided to do a medium instead, and I think it's going to be too big. And so just for some clarification, I am 5'5". My bust circumference is about 34 inches, waist is 27, so yeah, hopefully that helps. And I like a looser garment. I like things that are a little bit wider, so positive ease is definitely helpful in a garment for me personally. And yeah, so far I'm really happy with this knit. It's coming along really beautifully, and I can't wait to finish it and, you know, finish the body, work on the ribs on the collar and the sleeves and then the bottom, and then I'm pretty much done. And for materials, I use the exact same materials that she used. So I got Sandnes Garn. This is Double Sunday, which is merino, I think, in the color Nougat, I think. And then I got Sandnes Garn Thin Silk Mohair in the color light beige. I really like the way that they look together. I wanted to get the nougat color for the mohair, but it was sold out when I was looking to buy this stuff, so I just didn't get it. And I picked a different color, but I really like the combination. I think it adds a little bit more visual interest. So this is my first time working with mohair. I have a couple of mohair sweaters in my closet that I've purchased, like from Suzanne, and that's probably it actually. But the Suzanne Gaspar jumper has mohair in it, and I love that cardigan. It's one of my favorite sweaters that I own. I wear them all the time, so I'm not really new to mohair, but I'm new to working with mohair. And of course merino. I love merino wool. I love alpaca wool, all of the natural fibers. So I'm super happy with how this turns out. Hopefully in my next podcast episode this will be finished, because I've been working on it for about a month now, but I have some other projects that I've been working on at the same time. So yeah, it's hard to focus on, it's hard to get things done quickly when you're doing multiple projects and you have, you know, other things going on like work and my blog and, you know, a ton of other stuff. So yeah, so this is my Novice Slipover. The second work in progress that I have, which is actually almost done. I think I will have it done this afternoon. So I probably could have put it in my completed projects, but it's not quite complete yet. My boyfriend's sister had a baby recently, so I'm making a little baby cardigan. Isn't she so cute? Obviously it's a girl. And this is the beginner jacket from Petite Knit. Also, I cannot get over these teeny tiny little baby sleeves. They're so cute. It's worked top down with raglan stitches along the arms, and you work the body, and then you finish with the sleeves, working buttonholes the entire time, or throughout the body rather. It's really, really cute. I'm so happy with this. This one I tried a new yarn brand. I decided, I was getting ads on Instagram, honestly, for Majo Garn, and I was like, you know what, let's just try it. It is really affordable. I think they ship from the Netherlands, and I was like, ah, whatever, I'll just try it. And I'm really happy with it, actually. I think it's such a nice yarn. I think the original pattern was made with alpaca, but because it's for a baby, I was concerned that the animal fiber might be too itchy for a baby, so I decided to go with the merino instead. But I think, honestly, I'm not happy with my choice. I wish I had, it's super soft when it's in like the ball, but it's not as soft when it's knit up, so I wish I had picked a different yarn. So that's a learning lesson for me. I think in the future I might just go for the alpaca, or maybe just do things in cotton for babies. I haven't decided yet, but yeah, so I still have just one sleeve left, almost done. I have like maybe 12 centimeters left on this sleeve, and then I have to open up the buttonholes and then sew in the buttons, and I'm done. I want to finish this by Thanksgiving, so I think it will be definitely done. And this one, again, was such a great learning experience for me because it was my first time, I mean, completing a garment, number one. My first time doing raglan increases, which were incredibly difficult for me to understand at first. I feel like I made so many mistakes in the beginning and I wasn't paying as close attention to it as I needed to. But now I feel like I've learned my lesson and I have a good sense and I'm able to pay more close attention to it. So yeah, I think the raglan stitches were definitely tough, but I love the look of them. I liked doing them. I thought that it made it really interesting. So I'm really glad that I was kind of successful at that. Also doing like backward loop method to add on new stitches. All of that stuff was like really a lot of learning experiences for me. And of course, doing a mattress stitch seam for the sleeves. I think they look horrible, honestly, but I think it's just that the yarn is not really nice and thick enough to withstand a mattress seam, but it's okay. And, you know, a learning experience, that's all it is. But overall, like, I'm so happy with this. I can't wait to make more baby clothes. It was so much fun and I love it. And I love the color too. Mejo Garn has a lot of really beautiful colors to use, so I think I will definitely buy that yarn for when I make more sweaters for myself. Like my Novice Slipover, I think I could have made that in the same yarn, and then they have mohair also, so I think that would have been perfect fit for a different project. But I love it. I'm so excited for this and I can't wait to show you the finished project. Hopefully in the next podcast, as long as I still have it. That was all my whips for my first month of knitting. So I think I'm gonna move on to some recent yarn acquisitions. I've got quite a bit because I'm gonna be making some holiday gifts this month. So I have quite a few things to work on, and then hopefully in January or after Christmas I'll be able to get back to actually making things for myself again. So we'll see, but I'll start with some of my gift yarn pieces. So the first one, I have more of these. First one is I did a big order from Hobby, so yeah, I got a couple of things. So one of my gifts is going to be a blanket, and I got this Amigo acrylic yarn from Hobby. It's a chunky yarn and I think it will be really nice for making a blanket. It's pretty soft. The pattern calls for like wool yarn, but I didn't want to use wool just because, I don't know, I think a lot of people are sensitive to wool and I just didn't think, I wasn't sure if it would be an issue, so I wanted to use something that would be not so itchy, or, you know, there's a lower chance of having an allergy to it. So I got this one. I'm gonna be making the, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's a blanket pattern, homestead blanket maybe, from Kadri. So I will link it down below. I'll link all the patterns and all of the yarn that I used in the description for you if you want to check them out. But I figured this would be a really nice color. It's kind of like a dusty green. It's really cute. I will link it down below so you can check it out. But I wanted to make a blanket for someone. I don't know if they're going to be watching this video, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. But I just thought it would be a really nice gift, and because it's chunky yarn, it's pretty quick to knit up. So that is my plan for that, and hopefully I can get to all of these projects before Christmas comes. The next one is gonna be a hat. So two hats. My mom, when I first started knitting, told me that she wanted a hat, so she is getting a hat. I decided to go with the Oslo hat because I really just like the way that it looks. The Oslo hat from Petite Knit, rather. And my mom is really sensitive to animal fibers. She thinks that they are super itchy. So I didn't want to use animal fiber, so I got some acrylic yarn from Hobby for her also. This one is the butterfly yarn, and it's kind of like a green, like teal mix, so it's hard to see, but it gets like light, it goes from teal to like a lighter green. It's very pretty, actually. I'll make sure I link it, because she wanted a green hat, so, but a color changing hat, so I got this for her. Honestly, I don't think it's gonna change very much color because the yarn is so big, but this is what she wanted, so I'm gonna make it for her. And if it doesn't use as much yarn as I thought it would, then maybe I'll make her like matching scarf or something with it. I don't know, but I'm gonna have a lot left over, so I'm probably gonna make something else for her, or maybe mittens would be kind of fun and cute. It's really soft. It's got a nice hand feel, so it'll be interesting to see how it knits up. And honestly, I don't quite understand like the weight scale yet. Like, I don't know what weight this is. So I'll just link it and you can figure it out for yourself because I'm still learning. And then the last thing I got from Hobby was the extra fine merino from the Friends line. So same thing, because I was making a hat for my mom, I thought it would be fun to make one for my dad. So I'm gonna make him the Oslo hat also, but he is not so sensitive to animal fiber, so I decided to use the merino for him instead. And it's really, really soft, has a really nice hand feel. I think it was on sale when I got it too, so it was less than $6 for each ball, which was really nice. And I got him like a pretty navy blue. It's pretty dark, this is the kind of navy blue that I personally really like. So I am excited to see how this knits up. And the Oslo hat calls for holding 2 strands together. So I got a couple of these and 2 of the butterfly one to knit up the Oslo hat. So I'm very, very excited. I can't wait to see how these turn out, and also just to try a new pattern that is a little bit more advanced than like a simple beginner pattern. So we'll see. And the last couple of yarn acquisitions that I got are to make stuff for myself, because that was the whole reason I started knitting in the first place. So to start, I got some yellow yarn. I love yellow. It's one of my favorite colors, and I desperately needed a yellow balaclava because they don't really sell balaclavas in the US in the first place, so they're super hard to find. So I was like, if I'm gonna be knitting, I'm just gonna make one myself, obviously. So I'm using the balaclava #1 pattern from My Favorite Things knitwear. Again, it's kind of a more advanced pattern, but I'm just gonna go for it and hope for the best. You never know until you try, kind of thing. So I think these are the recommended yarns, if I'm not mistaken. It calls for 2 strands held together, so I got Sadness Garn Sunday. This is the Petite Knit colorways, so this is the color Banana. I love a banana yellow. It's my favorite. I love banana flavored like things, so I thought it would be perfect color. And then I got the Knitting for Olive silk mohair in the color Dusty Banana, and I'm really excited to start this project. I love these. The color is perfect. I think I'm gonna buy these as often as I can and make a ton of yellow things. I just love them. I think they're so stunning. So I'm excited to start that, but it's probably something that I won't start until at least December once I finish my holiday gifts. So it'll be a while before I get to start using these. And then last but not least, I saw one of the test knits for sweater number 23 from My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I saw someone made it in this stunning green color, and I immediately saved the photo and I was like, I have to make this in that, like I have to make that exact sweater. So I scoured the earth quite literally to find this yarn, but I found it and I can't wait to make it. So this is La Mana Como Grande, and then I got the La Mana Premia silk mohair to make sweater number 23, and they're both in the color Kiwi, and I love this color. It's like a beautiful kind of mossy, warm, yellow toned green, and it's so stunning, and I think it's going to be so perfect. I have a skirt, a satin skirt that is in a very similar color, and I have a blazer in a very similar color, so I think it's just going to be so fun to wear these together. And this was the first time I've purchased this brand of yarn, and these are both really nice quality. I'm really happy with these, but they were super hard to find. I had to literally scour the earth because yarn.com normally sells these, but they were out of this color in the Como Grande, so I was only able to get the mohair from them, and then I had to go find like a bunch of other sites. So I found a site from Canada that I'll link below because I don't remember what it was called, but they had only like 3 of these Como Grandes in stock, and then I found a site from Germany that had them in stock. So I was like, oh my god, I have to. It had like 8 of these in stock, so it was like a whole thing. Such like a crazy experience trying to find a sweater's quantity worth of this yarn, but I did it, and I'm excited to actually try these out and knit up sweater 23. That is pretty much all my acquisitions for the month. Obviously, of course, I only started knitting in the last month, so I have bought a lot of things. So if you want me to go into more of like the tools and things, other things, accessories that I got for my knitting, I'm happy to do that. I've gotten lots of buttons for when I make cardigans, tons of needles, books, project bags, stitch markers, that sort of thing. So I'm happy to go over those in a separate video maybe. But this is where I'm at for right now. Okay, so last but not least, because I have a ton of projects to complete this month before the holidays, and then 2 other projects, it will probably be a while before I start anything new. I personally have found, number one, that I don't like having more than one project going at a time because it's hard to focus, and I feel like I like completing my projects quickly, and if I have more than one project, they take way too long, and it's kind of discouraging for me personally. So I'm trying to do one at a time, I think, moving forward. So yeah, I think it'll be a little while before I get to any new projects or new like yarn acquisitions, that sort of thing, but I have a ton of things that I would like to make, so I'm already planning what some of my first projects for 2023 will be. So I thought I would share those with you before we get out of here. The first one that I'm going to make is the Novice cardigan in the mohair edition. I saw a photo of someone wearing like a button front cardigan. I don't think it was the Novice cardigan. It was a different style, but it might have been cardigan number 7 from My Favorite Things Knitwear, but I think I'm going to make the Novice cardigan instead. And it was so beautiful in this gorgeous bright like cobalt sapphire blue. It was so stunning, and it was it might have been, it had mohair in it, but I don't know what the materials were exactly, but I was like, I have to make a beautiful cardigan in that color because, well, partially because I just love a beautiful jewel tone, but also I saw a pair of trousers that I think would match beautifully with them, that I'm considering buying. So I just thought it would be really great to have like a matching sweater and trousers that I can wear together, but they would also look fantastic separate. So yeah, my first project of 2023 will most likely be the Novice cardigan mohair edition in beautiful blue. And then the second thing that I'm thinking I might make is going to be, I want to do a pink turtleneck, which is like so specific. There's so many other colors to make a turtleneck, but I do just feel like a pink one would be fun. Again, because I found a pink blazer that I think would be so cute to style it with, and then obviously a turtleneck is great to just have on its own. So I'm thinking I will make a cardigan, no, a turtleneck in pink. I'm looking at the October sweater, I think it is. I can't quite remember, but I feel like it would be fun to knit up a pink sweater, so I'm looking at that, and it's going to be beautiful bright pink, different from my beginner cardigan. Like think bright pink, like fuchsia kind of pink. I think that just would be so much fun. So those are the first couple of things in my 2023 knitting plans. And then also socks. I really think I would enjoy making socks because, like I mentioned, I love projects that are quick and not like so time consuming. Sweaters take a really long time to make, so I feel like I would just enjoy making socks because they're quick, and I want socks in like a bunch of fun colors. So yeah, so that is definitely something that I'm going to be working on soon. I have the 52 weeks of socks book, but it probably is way too difficult for my experience level right now. So I'm gonna I found a free sock pattern, so I'm gonna try that and then see how I like it. If I like it, I'll probably find a different sock pattern to try. And if I don't, then I will never knit socks ever again, I guess. Okay, so fun. This was my very first knitting podcast episode. I had a lot of fun talking about my projects, and I would love to know what you're working on, so feel free to comment below and let me know. I'm always looking for, you know, new things to try, new projects, new yarn, everything. I'm really, really excited and just enjoying the process of knitting right now, and I just thought it would be fun to share because there is such a strong community around knitting, and I don't know, it's nice to kind of share your journey. So yeah, so I'm gonna keep doing this as long as I enjoy it, basically. So with that said, that is it for episode number 1. I hopefully will come back for episode 2 with some more completed projects for you, some more whips to share. Hopefully no yarn, because my wallet doesn't want me to do that, but we shall see. And perhaps in the future, once I have a couple more completed garments, I can do a little bit more like styling my pieces. I think that would be a lot of fun to try and do. And eventually, I think I'd like to share everything I knitted in 2022, even though it's only been like 2 or 3 months since then, but I think it'll be fun. So yeah, I think that's everything. And if you liked my video, please feel free to like and comment, subscribe, and yeah, and hopefully you'll stick around. And that's it, I guess. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll chat with you in the next episode. Bye!